Sup gamers, it's your boy. Today we are going to be going over part C of the calculus question for review. Now, when you did part B, which I know you've already done, you got this answer, x minus 1 in parentheses to the 2n power over n plus 1 factorial. Now, what we're doing for part C is we're going to be doing my second favorite test, the ratio test. And you spell ratio as I just wrote it. So the ratio test says that as n approaches infinity, a n plus 1 over a n is going to equal a number. And what that number means something. And so we can figure out information from that. What we're testing with part C is the convergency of this thing from part B. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I'm a big dumb fool, baby. What is n plus 1? That's a great question. We're going to plug in n plus 1 to the answer we got for B. So we go x minus 1 to n plus 1, because that's how plugging things in goes. That's a parenthesis, not a greater than sign. N plus 1 factorial equals. And this is just simplifying, which even though you're a baby, you should probably be able to do. And that's the a to the n plus 1 we're going to be using. So let's plug it in. Let's plug in our boy. Equals lim n to infinity of big fraction boy, x minus 1 to n plus 2 over n plus 2 factorial over our original function, which is, if I may remind you, 2n over n plus 1 factorial. Absolute value. You got to do the absolute value. You're a fool if you don't do the absolute value. And now from here, we're just going to do the ratio test. Everyone loves the ratio test. That's why it's got a little smiley face. Lim and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to flip the bottom fraction so that this looks decent and so that we can do math with it. N plus 2 factorial times n plus 1 factorial over equals. And now we're gonna do some math. We're gonna do some math, believe it or not. I'm really tired of writing lim n to infinity. N plus 1 factorial over n plus 2 factorial times x minus 1 to n plus 2 over x minus 1 to n. And there's a fraction and an absolute value there. And we gotta go to the next line because I ran out of room. Big twist. What we're gonna do here is first, we're going to write lim as n approaches infinity. You can never forget that. Second, we're going to do the x part. So x minus 1 to n plus 2 over x plus 1 to n is, in fact, x plus 1 to the 2. And that's because of our exponent rules that we learned in 7th grade when we were little dumb babies. So we got x minus 1 to the second. Now, we got these factorials. We got n plus 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this out long form. We're going to go 1 times 2 times 3, dot, 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 n plus 1. Because n plus 1 is our last term. And we're going to put it over the fraction, 1 plus 2, or 1 times 2, sorry, blah, blah, blah. And so this is n plus 2 we're trying to go toward here. So we're going to write n plus 1, and then we're going to write n plus 2. Because that's how factorials work. And we're going to close this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to shebang all these boys, including the n plus 1s. So that we're left with 1 over n plus 2. We're going to rewrite that. Lim n approaches infinity, x minus 1 squared over n plus 2. And now we're just going to plug in n as approaches infinity. And so we get x minus 1 squared over, believe it or not, infinity. And what does that mean? It means x minus 1 squared times 0, which is 0. Now, do you remember your ratio test rules? You better, but I'm going to write them out anyway. If L, this is equals L, by the way. So if L is greater than 1, the series diverges. If L is less than 1, converges, absolutely. And if L is 1, you're a big dumb baby and you got to try another problem. But we didn't have that issue. So 0, what do we get? We got 0, 0. Now at home, is 0 greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1? No, it's actually less than 1. Good try though. So what we know is that this boy up here absolutely converges from x equals negative infinity to infinity. And the reason we know that it's that range is because we never actually plugged in a value for x, it just sort of canceled out on its own by getting multiplied by 0. Thanks for watching. Remember, stay in school and drive safe, and, you know, and cut.